from Los Angeles. Welcome to the program. You remember the story of stuff? Oh, well, it was great. It was a little cartoon that the progressives at the Tides Foundation brought our children. Over 4,000 or 5,000 schools now nationwide run this, and it's basically telling our children that we stink on ice because we're just destroying the planet. Well, there's another fabulous progressive project brought to you by George Soros and the Tides Foundation. They played this propaganda to our kids in the schools in hopes that kids become part of the environmentalist movement. But now they've crossed another line. With the story of stuff message, they are now heading into our churches and our synagogues. They've got a spin-off production titled Let There Be Stuff. It is a 6-session curriculum that helps Christians and Jews, Christian and Jewish teens, quote, explore their relationship between their consumption, their faith, and the health of the planet. A suggested ad for church bulletins reads, do you ever wonder what you can do to make the biggest difference in the future of the planet? Now, how do you think a Christian would answer that question? Probably something Jesus-related, right? God's a little particular on what your top priorities should be. I'm pretty sure reducing your carbon footprint probably is not very high on the list. However, taking care of his creation would be. Confusing, isn't it? Well, they're not stopping with Let There Be Stuff. They are now going right into our churches and our synagogues. It's for the planet, you know. They want you to join a group. That's the best thing our teens can do, is join a group. Is that sulfur I smell? Yes, I think so. Join me now is Calvil Beisner. He is the founder and national spokesman of the Cornwall Alliance for the Stewardship of Creation. And David Barton. He is the founder and president of Wall Builders. Welcome both of you to the show. Okay, let me start with you, Cal, because you went through the curriculum, which is fantastic, isn't it?
Oh, there are many wonderful things and all sorts of nice stuff in there, with a bit of other stuff mixed in.
Yes, yes. Okay, here's the thing. I want you to understand, as a parent or as a Christian or as a synagogue attending Jew, that you understand that there is some truth in all of this. And then it's mixed with the teachings of mankind and the philosophies of man, and oh, it just becomes all nice, warm, and fuzzy. So I'm going to, I think literally, maybe play devil's advocate today. I want to push back on some of this, because some of this is true, and find out exactly where we split good and bad in the story of stuff project here. So Cal, you went through it, so let's just look at some of the things that you found in the teachings here.
Well, first of all, there is a good bit of good stuff in there. The fundamental idea that we should, as people who fear God and who believe in Him, we should be taking care of this earth. That's a good thing.
Yes.
But of course, that's really pretty obvious to anybody. Where you start getting the problems is when you start getting into the details. The Apostle Paul told us in 1 Thessalonians, test all things, hold fast what is good. And that's what we need to do with this curriculum. I'll give you an example real quickly. In chapter 1 it says, when we drink, we owe a debt. What? To God? To the earth's great waters. Now
I was just at the earth's great waters today and worshiping them. That is, I mean, that's American native. I mean, I guess you could go there. It's paganism.
It's a difference between thankful for and thankful to. We're not thankful to the waters. We're thankful to God, who made them, for the waters.
Right.
That's the difference.
Okay.
In chapter 2, it says, we opened our hearts to what? The Creator? To Jesus Christ? No. We opened our hearts to creation. This is New Age pantheistic thinking. You open your heart, the creation, which is itself God, begins to fill you, and you then begin to sense your oneness with all of creation. This is not Judeo-Christian thought. This is Hindu thought.
Let me look at this. if I open myself up to creation and see myself as part of creation, and I am one with all that God created, then I can worship God and say, look at all of the amazing. I mean, how many of us have gone into the mountains and looked at the mountains and said, oh my gosh, look at how great your creation is.
Just last month, my wife and I drove through Washington, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming.
Yeah.
It was just incredibly beautiful. And all through it, we were thanking God over and over again for the beauty of that.
Right.
But you said one with. No, we're not one with. God made creation, and He made us. We're part of creation, but we're not one with creation. That's Buddhist thought. That's Brahman is the world soul, and everything is one. It's monism oneism instead of twoism.
Right. I could play devil's advocate here and say we're splitting hairs because I know that I am separate from creation. I know I'm not part of the tree and the tree's not part of me. But we are all part of God's creation. God created. He created that, and He created that, and created that. Man created the camera, but God created the elements that went into the camera. You know what I mean?
But we're not just splitting hairs when what we see is pantheism being brought into the churches, saying that God is the universe, that the universe is God, instead of God made the universe. That's not splitting hairs.
Yes.
That's a fundamental doctrine of historic Christianity called creation ex nihilo, creation out of nothing. Otherwise, you think that God made the universe out of Himself. Well, that's Buddhist and Hindu thought.
Okay.
Not Christian.
So now let's go to the next piece, chapter 3.
Take another example here. We're told in chapter 3 that all sorts of things that we produce and the processes we use to produce them are poisoning us. Now, that's just one example of many throughout the curriculum where, frankly, they're pushing alarm, they're trying to scare children. What they're not mentioning, quite simply, is that as economies grow, as they develop through the years, we actually have cleaner and cleaner, healthier, more beautiful environments in which we live. What we see is that when you live in a primitive, subsistence, agricultural sort of society, you are exposed to all kinds of disease carriers. But as you get wealthier, you can eliminate that, and you can have a cleaner life. That's why we live longer.
The one thing that people always, it kills me, they always say that, well, our water isn't as pure as it used to be. I mean, if you just read history, there is a great book called Conquering Gotham, and it's about have you read it?
Parts of it.
Yeah, about the Pennsylvania Railroad coming into New York and what they had to do to build the tunnels and everything else. And just the description of people, the way they had to live, getting onto the ferry boats and coming across water where there are dead animals and human waste and garbage, and I mean, it was filthy. Now it wouldn't be tolerated.
Yeah.
We clean it up.
But 200 years ago, average human life expectancy in the United States was under 35 years. And it was under 30 years for most of human history until about 1800. Now it's around 80. People are living longer. You can't reconcile that with the notion that we're making a worse and worse environment in which to live. The best measure of the environment, bottom line measure, is human health and longevity. Those are improving over time, not diminishing, which shows we have an improving environment.
Okay.